This is Aztec 101 in the ring. And on boxingscene.com, there's an article. And they ask this question, the question you see on the title. They pose a question: is it too soon to say that Lomachenko is number one pound for pound? Um, if I'm to answer that question, I would say no. And that's without revealing whether I do or not consider him a pound for pound anything. So, and one thing I want to come to an understanding when you guys watch this video, just understand that I don't consider it's not a real list. It's not that I don't consider it. It's not a real fucking list. Yeah, the websites and the promoters, the networks, they use it to sell fights. They use it to start boxing talk, but you guys bite every time and sometimes give it too much attention. But in the spirit of boxing talk, let's talk about this. I don't think it's ever too soon to consider someone pound for pound. Technically, there is no criteria that you have to follow. Um, Everyone has their own set of standards, and they always, when presenting a list made of their own, they always give the reasons why this fighter is, ranked at a certain position in their list, right? So there's nothing that says you gotta have 7 fights, you gotta have 10 plus fights, you gotta do this, do that. You gotta have so many fights in amateur to prove that to then be considered pound for pound, right? Nowhere is it set in stone that you have to use any criteria. I'll give you an example. This is pound for pound being used properly, whether you like it or not. This is pound for pound being used in a regular situation. I'm a coach at a gym, and I'm pointing at the punching bags, and I say, see that 14-year-old boy right there hitting the bag? I'm training him for his first fight. This is the best fighter in the world right now. I could honestly believe that. And I'm using number one pound for pound because that's what it is, the best fighter in the world. I'm using it properly. Now, whether my assumption of the fighter is premature, whether, there's any backing to it, that doesn't make sense. That to some people, and whatever, it could be argued easily, but I'm still using it properly. People believe that this is the best fighter in the world right now. Resume aside, you don't need it. You can just say it, right? That's why I this whole pound for pound shit, it's kind of bullshit sometimes. That's why I'm saying you guys give it too much attention. Um, but now, if you were to consider, like, let's say I was to say um, that resume is one of my criteria, right? And you could bring up his loss to Salido. The fact that he has Salido in his second fight is insane. That is insane. Okay? 3 months later, he fights Gary Russell Jr. And then you fast forward and he beats Nicholas Walters. Like, those are names that Guillermo Rigondeaux hasn't carried. He's got one name on his resume, but people put him as number one pound for pound. Who's to say they're wrong too, right? You can't say that he doesn't have enough names. There's everyone. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, you can say whatever the fuck you want when you're talking pound for pound. So if you wanted to get technical with it, though, he does have better names than Guillermo Rigondeaux. And the fact that he has those names under 10 fights is fucking insane. It's insane. But who's to say that he doesn't lose, right? This shit changes all the fucking time. All the fucking time. People are always premature with their fucking rankings. I remember when at one point Adrian Broner was top 5 on some people's list. Hindsight's 2020. Now you look at Adrian Broner, he's nowhere near it. Right? That ship sailed. And at one point he was top 5. That is insane. Right? So honestly, is it too soon? No, it's never too soon. And I don't get what the problem is. He does have a good record. Say what you want about the loss to Salido, but you can't forget the details of the fight. Salido came in overweight. If that was any other fighter, and it wasn't Lomachenko, right? I don't think that would have been looked at as a fucking veteran move. So, you know what I mean? Like, that shit would just be considered, oh, this is a disgrace to all professional fighters that come in and make weight and blah, 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 blah. He did it to Lomachenko, and it's oh, well, you know what? That's a veteran move. And they pretty much, as much as people want to say that they're hyping up, HBO is hyping up, and they're the system that's trying to hype up Lomachenko. They gave Lomachenko his first loss. You know what I mean? They gave him his first loss. They didn't make it an easy road for him, and they haven't. He's not gliding by fighting bums and shit. He's taking on real opponents. And I don't know if you guys remember, Gary Russell Jr. was also one of those guys that someone would put on their top 10. There were high hopes for Gary Russell Jr. So, there's validity to the claim when talking about Lomachenko. But everyone's list is going to change. What do you guys think? What do you think about Lomachenko being ranked number 1 pound for pound now? Is he? Is he not? And don't bring this, it's too soon. Just yes or no. Is he number 1? This is Aztec 101 in the ring, and I'm out.